Iceland has started its search for a Eurovision 2018 act. There are 12 songs. There can only be one winner, but we're going to give you our individual top 3. Are you guys ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Iceland is one of those countries that Euro fans, and I know the three of us, would love to see win Eurovision. We would love to spend 2 weeks in that beautiful island. Unfortunately, I don't think it's happening in 2018. This selection, I was watching it, and initially it was like shades of gray. It was just gray, 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 gray. Eventually, I found 3 songs. In any case, Porig, why don't you kick us off with your general thoughts and your number 3?
Well, firstly, I want to apologise to the island of Malta because I feel I was particularly cruel to them in our video when I was saying that they had a very bad selection, because by comparison, their selection is wonderful because at least their songs, while they might not be top quality, they have a bit of personality and they stand out from one another. Whereas, as you said, this is just different shades of grey or different shades of beige. Because it came to a point last night where we decided last night we were doing this video, and I was thinking to myself, 3 songs. How do I pick 3 songs? And I felt almost like, did you see that clip a few weeks back of Anouk on The Voice of Holland?
Yes.
Where she had to send through 2 songs, and she decided they both were bad, so she wasn't sending through any. So I was kind of almost like, do I pick a top 3? Should I just pick a top 2? Because there's only 2 that stand out to me. And in the end, I just have decided that my third choice is the one that stands out to me, but it is probably my number 12, but the rest of them I can't remember. So my third choice, I do not like it at all, but it stands out. And at Eurovision, you need to stand out because most people are only seeing it once, and you don't have the luxury to listen to these over and over again. So my third choice, but realistically, it's my least favourite song, is the song Kúst og fæjó by Heimilistónar. And they didn't even bother to record an English version, so that might give you an indication as to their expectations that they don't expect even to make it to their national final. But it stands out, maybe not for particularly good reasons, but it's different. It's a very ethnic, folky, Icelandic style song. Like, you couldn't really imagine it coming from any other country. And I see here, just looking at the Wikipedia page, that the song translates as a broom and a dustpan. I didn't realise that before now. But it's kind of kooky, it's kind of weird, it's out there. But at least it's not just a boring, adequate song that's just kind of like, will this do? They've added a bit of quirkiness to it. It's kind of got a certain charm to it. Do I hope it wins? No. But it just stands out enough that it's my top 3, and I'm just done talking about it.
Now, Chris, normally I would jump to you for your number 3, but I've got to interject. This is also my number 3. And for much the same reason, even scrolling through the pictures, these ladies stand out. They're rocking some kind of vintage Poochie vibe. I mean, they've got... Yeah, I don't want to say they're Icelandic housewives, but they have this kind of matronly quality. That's not a bad thing. You know, it's the moms next door who are real, real sweet. Maybe some would consider them MILFs. I don't know. I just know that there's a likable quality to the picture. And then I look at the lyrics. I clean, tight and stiff, blowing the house with the ropes. As good as everything is being brushed, only the girls are shorter. Now, Google Translate, this is a rough translation, obviously. But she talks about stiff fabrics, buying 3 kinds of jellyfish, and not mending the duck. I bet if I understood Icelandic, I'd be LOLing. As for now, I'm just kind of bewildered. And I like that this has like a 1950s, I don't want to say Meghan Trainor sound, but it has this vintage sound. They're attempting to update for today. I think it gets stuck in the late 70s or early 80s. I don't know. I just know it's not of today. It's not of this world. But they're quirky, they're kooky, and at least this is memorable. Like, this is the song that after I was listening, I was thinking of those ladies. So well done. Chris, your number 3.
It is memorable, and I do like the vintage. It's not my number 3, though. My number 3, and I apologise to anybody in Iceland, I think it's Þórunn Antonía with You. which is one of the many kind of bland kind of two people singing or one person singing. They all blend together. This one just stood out because they had a guitar and it was nice and their voices kind of worked. You can kind of see it being staged at Eurovision and not qualifying for the final, as Iceland have for the past 3 years now. I think the general standard of these songs is the point where Iceland have kind of brought a song to Eurovision and we've all rated it, and then it's gone downhill when we've got there. And now none of them are particularly that good in this one. So, like, it's going to go even further downhill, you'd assume. But yeah, this was fine. I only really liked two the same, though. So this was kind of the best of the bad bunch in terms of my third place.
Now, Pádraig, normally I would come to you for your number two, but with you is also my number two. As Chris said, this is one of the more pleasant of a bunch of pleasant songs. I could not hum you the melody right now. I'm trying to think of it. I cannot do it, but I know I left this window open. They looked telegenic. Their voices worked well together. It was very sweet. Like, it was a soft song, but it made some kind of impact. Like, because I remember singing, ooh, you know, this is one of the better entries. Not particularly memorable, but you could see them giving this good staging and then making it memorable. Like, this is kind of, I don't know, like Angel, Ukraine, 2011. You know, the song is so give us some amazing staging and then, wow, you're feeling some feels. Yeah, there's something here. I think if they can match these vocals live, the harmonies and such would be very, very nice. Tender, sweet. Yeah, you know, actually, this isn't that bad. This is pretty good, this one. And I'm wishing them the best. Pádraig, you're number two.
I can't even remember that song. But my number two, there was literally only two songs that kind of stood out for me in a positive way. And my number two, I'm not even that particularly pushed about it, but it's Aaron, I'll call him Aron, and Golddigger.
Gonna keep her satisfied. She keeps me up all night like a straight up freak. Oh, she's a straight up freak. Oh, she's a straight up.
It's a very naughty style song. It reminds me of Kanye West had a song called Golddigger. When I compare it to other sleazy get in my pants style songs by male artists, I would put it below Robin Benson and Miklas Joseph, but ahead of Edward Ramanuta. But it's memorable and it's catchy and it's fun and it's like a pop song. And I think it's the only kind of upbeat pop song in this year's selection. All the rest are kind of try-hard singer-songwriters, apart from the Cookie Housewives. And they're all like, they're trying so hard to be something credible, I think, that they're just boring. Whereas this, it has the potential that it could kind of have good staging. It reminds me a bit of, there was a song in last year's selection, not by Aron, but it was by Aaron Brink, Hypnotized. Yeah, but it's not a song that I would be particularly pushed about seeing in Lisbon. And I wouldn't like it in Lisbon if Miklas Joseph is at home, because it would just remind me of how good Miklas Joseph's song was by comparison. Yeah, but that's my number two. And it's purely just because it's the only, well, kind of, yeah, it is the only fun song. And it stands out for that reason.
So my number two, again, Icelandic, I think it's Fókus hópurinn with Battleline, which is the big group of people.
What's the point in giving up so soon? Don't let go. Can't you see the light outside the tunnel? Yeah.
It's kind of like genealogy light. I kind of feel like it's kind of got a, you know, where we're all going to sing together at this point, and I'm going to do this, and then you're going to do that. It's kind of got that build to it, but it's fine. Like, the lyrics, I can't remember exactly which bits of it, but some of the lyrics were a bit clunky, and it felt a bit too heavy for what they were trying to do. But they sound good together in the harmonies, which is probably a main thing. Like a lot of these songs, it's just kind of like a bland vocal. They at least mix it up a bit. And, you know, you always, a big group of singers at Eurovision does kind of work. I mean, Genealogy at least qualified, but then again, they had Diaspora. Iceland clearly doesn't, so I don't know whether or not you can equate, oh, they might do well because of that. But I think juries might like it. But yeah, it's another one where it's just kind of there. There's nothing massively standout about it. It was more that I was finding issues with the lyrics, and then I listened to the Icelandic version, and that was even worse. So like it just felt like they wrote the Icelandic version for the sake of it. Like they just seemed to smush lyrics into that one. It's clearly meant for the English, and yeah, I can't remember exactly which bit it was, but there was problems with the lyrics. So yeah, another kind of
This was my number 4, and it was for similar reasons. I saw a group of people. I thought the beginning of it was at least interesting. As you said, they were doing different things. There were some harmonies that were very nice. They looked very friendly. But then towards the end, there was like this guitar, electric guitar. Something just went very 80s for me. So suddenly it went very dated, and I didn't know what was going on, so I had to turn it off. All right. Time for our number 1, our pick to sing for Iceland at Eurovision 2018, based on the studio cuts. Rig.
Literally, there's only one song that I would kind of be okay with saying that I liked in this selection, and that is Fókus with Battleline.
I've been fighting for us tonight. Can't you see it? I've been fighting for what's inside.
And it's not even like, normally in every selection there's a song that I love and I'm raving about it. This is just one that I like. And it reminds me in a good way of, do you remember that song in Adele 2015, or was it 2015 or 16, Seven Seas? It was a duet, and it was Andy Toth and Oliver Burkes. And it was kind of a cheesy male-female duet. And then in a bad way, it reminds me of Tor and Bettan all over the world from Melody Grand Prix 2015. But it's that kind of schlagery, kind of dated 80s style duet. And because before I looked at the pictures and I just listened to it, I thought it was a duet. I didn't realise it was a group singing. But it's kind of got a cheesy catchiness to it. And does that work in the modern context? I don't think so. Like back in 2010, it did okay for Watch His Face and Shanae and Evergreen. But then as we saw with Verona last year, which is superior to this song, they crashed out in the semis. So it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. And there is a quality to it. There's a catchiness to it. It stays in my head. It's not just bland, will this do, are we credible? They're cheesy, but it's fun and it's better than the other ones. And yeah, it's kind of the only one that kind of the melody stays in my head. And I don't hate it the way I kind of despise the other, not Aron, Hans, Golddigger, but the rest of them are just, ugh.
So my number 1 is Aron with Golddigger. And it's the only one where I can kind of actually see it on a Eurovision stage, and I can almost see it qualifying, but it would have to have a very specific kind of a situation for it to qualify. Like, this is the kind of song you can imagine the producers putting on last in a semi-final, and then it gets the points because of it. Because it's kind of like a party, like, oh, this'll, you know, it's a nice end to a show kind of song. But there are better songs. Like, if Mikaelis Joseph does go and they're in the same semi-final, then that'll be an issue. It requires a lot for this to qualify, I think. But that being said, you know, it's kind of cheesy pop. There's the bit of sleaze to it, but it's nothing massively offensive. Like, it's not Edward Romanuta ripping his clothes off. Like, that shouldn't happen. No. But yeah, it's just one of those where it's like, again, this isn't what you want from Iceland. Iceland had such a great run of songs, and now we're in this selection, and this is the best that there is from it. And it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's a great choice for Iceland, but this is the best they've got.
I am just shocked at how similar our tops are, because like legitimately we did not discuss our tops before this video. My number 1 is also Golddigger. And again, similar reasons. I could see this on the Eurovision stage. I've never seen him live, or I don't remember seeing him live, although I know he's competed before. If he's got enough swagger, he could make this work, you know, more than it should. The lyrics are a tad dirty. With your loving comes my bank account. Baby girl, you're cold as ice and you take it. Every little thing that I've got, I don't mind living a lie. I keep on giving and giving and giving, gonna keep her satisfied. He thinks very highly of himself, and he is boasting about that bling. But again, you could work with this with the right attitude. I see lots of gold lights. I see lots of camera cuts. It's trying to be contemporary in a way the others are not, and it's avoiding what we've seen in this selection is just lots of sweet, tender, and forgettable songs. Like there's something folksy and sweet about so many of the songs, particularly if you look at them on the website, just go in the order. At the beginning, it's like sweet, 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 nice, nice, nice. Well, give me dirty, and that's what he's done. It kind of wakes you up. You know, I could see this squeaking through to the final, assuming he's not, you know, immediately after the Czech Republic if they end up in the same semifinal. Yeah, there's something here they could work with. In any case, that is what we think. What do you think? What are your Iceland top 3? Do any of these songs have a shot at making the final? Who would you send to Lisbon? Let us know here on Wee Wee Blogs.
Make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell.
And leave a comment down below in the comment section.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.